All right, we are going to be moving into row 11, and we're going to switch over to our 6mm hook if you're using the I Love This yarn in brown. If you're not using the I Love This yarn or a smaller yarn, don't even worry about changing hooks. So we are going to come in from the right side, and I have actually weaved in and knotted off all my tails, so I'll show you that. I do recommend for this round, and I didn't put it in the beginning of the video, having stitch markers because I just kind of assumed everybody would have them to attach to their hoops. But this is going to be a round where I do recommend using some stitch markers, and I'll show you why here in a second. So you're going to go ahead and fasten off your red with a 5 to 6 inch tail as always, and we're going to swap over to our brown here. And we're going to slip stitch into the top of that first single crochet. Okay, so excuse me, we're going to wrap our yarn around here. Go ahead and pull that tail forward like that and slip stitch through not only the red loop but the top of the red loop, sorry, the battery cut off. So we are going to be taking our tails and pulling them forward here, and I'm going to chain one. Okay, now we are actually not going to be working into the same stitch here, this single crochet. That's going to be our last half double crochet of our round, but we are going to get started with our repeat with 3 half double crochets, and they're going to go in the top of each of your extended decreases. Okay, so 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, so I did crochet over my tails just to make my life easier a little bit later. So we've got 3 half double crochets there. Now you're going to turn your work, and we're actually going to be working in these spaces here between our clusters. Okay, and so your first single crochet is going to go over this red chain space, and I am going to do it over my tails just because I'm extra. So go ahead and place a single crochet over that chain space. Okay, now you are going to come down here, and in this skip stitch in the orange row, we're going to place a single crochet. Okay, and this one's going to be kind of loose. Don't be super tight. See how I've got a lot of space there? I'm going to place that single crochet there, and then I'm going to tighten it. Okay, now in the yellow row, we are going to go in this space right here, which is technically a chain space. Okay, and remember that because later you're going to place a single crochet there again. So place a single crochet in that space. Now we're going to come down here to the brown chain space and place a single crochet. Now in the side of this double crochet underneath that yellow back bow section, we're going to place a single crochet. Okay, now you're going to drop down, and in the last stitch of this, or excuse me, between these 2 red clusters, we're going to place a single crochet. Okay, so now we're going to drop down, and I'm actually going to put my fingers in the middle of my ring here. We're going to drop down here between our orange clusters and place a single crochet. Okay, now between your yellows, you're going to place a single crochet. And now between your browns, you're going to place a single crochet. Chain 1, and you're going to turn your work a full 180 degrees. Okay, now you're going to place another single crochet between your brown clusters. Ooh, I split my yarn somehow. Give me a second here. Now, between your yellow clusters, you're going to place another single crochet. Okay. Between your orange clusters, you're going to place another single crochet. Between your reds, place another single crochet in that same space. You'll come over here underneath the yellow section of the side of this double crochet like this, almost, excuse me, like this. It's going to kind of twist, and you're going to do a single crochet. Okay. Now we're going to go under that brown chain space again, place another single crochet. Now we're going to come back up here to this yellow section, and we're going to stick our hook in that chain space underneath and place a single crochet. Okay. Now this next one is going to go into the same spot that your previous brown single crochet went to in the orange round. So make sure you're going to the top of that skipped extended decrease. Okay. And now you're going to place a single crochet over the red chain space. Whew, you did it. Okay, so now to wrap up this repeat, we're going to place 6 half double crochets. The first one I'm going to place, and then I'm going to mark it with my stitch marker. Okay, so 1, we're going to mark this because it'll be important for our next row, and it'll make your life a lot easier. You do not have to do that. So I'm going to place 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right. 5 is going to go into the center single crochet of those 3 single crochets. And number 6 will go into the last single crochet there. And then you'll start this repeat over again. I am not going to record a second repeat for you, only because you can go back and rewatch this section. I did it a few times before I put this version into the video. But between your borders here for your feathers, you're going to have 9 half double crochets across up top here, okay? And I always mark the first one for our... All right, so we are going to be moving into round 12, and what we are going to do is we're going to slip stitch to the top of that first single crochet. Don't lose your yarn like me though. Oh my gosh. All right, and in that stitch we're going to chain 1, and to get our repeat started we're going to place a single crochet in that stitch. Okay, you're going to place a half double crochet in the next stitch, and you're going to skip this last half double crochet here, and you are going to yarn over in between your borders of feathers here where that red chain space is. Technically you put 2 single crochets over that in the previous row. We're going to put 2 double crochets, a chain 2, and 2 double crochets. So 1 double crochet, you're going to see 2 double crochets, chain 2, and yarn over and go back into that same space and put 2 more double crochets, and 2. Now the stitch marker is going to make the rest of the repeat really easy because we're going to skip our stitch marker, okay, and we're going to place a half double crochet in the following stitch, followed by 4 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that completes our repeat. So we're going to start our repeat over again with a single crochet to make 5 single crochets total. Then we're going to follow up with a half double crochet. And then we're going to skip this 9th stitch here. We're going to yarn over and around that red chain space, and in between the single crochets that we put over top of that chain space, we're going to put 2 double crochets, a chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. Ooh. and 2. Now we're going to skip our marked stitch. We're going to place a half double crochet in the next stitch. Oops, sorry for hitting the camera. What did I do here? Make sure you're not picking up the wrong loops though. So half double crochet, followed up by 4 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So a note here, you'll repeat that 14 more times, but between your 2 double crochet chain to 2 double crochet clusters, you're going to have a half double crochet, 5 single crochets, and a half double crochet. So a total of 7 stitches between those clusters. Okay, and so I will see you for the next round, and we are going to fasten off this row. You're going to slip stitch to the top of that very first single crochet, and we will start with yellow on our next row. All right, moving into row 13, I have flipped this over to the right side of this project, or it currently is on the right side of this project. And so what you're going to do is, I already fastened off my brown, and I've sewn in all my tails predominantly. What I'm going to do is go into the top of the very first single crochet that we put down, and I'm going to take my yellow yarn, wrap it around my hook. Maybe, where's the start? And then we're going to pick up that brown loop, okay? And so, where's our brown loop at? There we go. Pull this forward. All right. So I am going to slip stitch through the brown and the top of the brown stitch, okay? And now I'm going to bring my tails forward before I chain one. Oh my gosh, where's my tail at? Having more of a problem today with less tails around me. Okay, so go ahead and chain one. And now you are going to place 5 single crochets starting with the single crochet that we slip stitched into, okay? So place your single crochet. 1. I am going to single crochet over my tails. 2. 3. 4. Remember, we're on the wrong side of this project. And 5 single crochets. Then you're going to do 2 front post double crochets around each of these stitches. So 1 front post double crochet and 2 front post double crochets. We're going to do a half double crochet and a chain 2 and another half double crochet in this chain space. Come on. There we go. I'm going to turn my work here a little bit. And then we're going to do 2 front post double crochets again. 1 and 2. Okay. And then we're going to place 2 single crochets. So 1 and 2. So let's go ahead and do that repeat again. A note on this row, there's going to be 7 single crochets between each of your clusters that go in that, that include those front post double crochets. So let's get started with 5 single crochets here. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which makes a total of 7 across here. And we're going to place 2 front post double crochets. So 1 and 2. We're going to place a half double crochet in this chain space with a chain 2. Ooh, I lost my yarn. I got butterfingers together today. And then we're going to place another half double crochet in the chain space. Put 2 front post double crochets around these 2 double crochets here. 1 and 2. And wrap up this repeat with 2 single crochets. So 1 and 2. All right, so go ahead and repeat that 14 more times, and I'll meet you for the next round. And we are going to have yellow again, but from the right side. All right, we're moving into row 14. We're going to slip stitch from the wrong side into the top of that very first stitch. We're going to chain 1 and go ahead and turn your work back to the right side. All right, so now that we're back on our right side, we're going to start our repeat in that same stitch with 4 double crochets up to our cluster. So 1, go to the next stitch, 2, into the next, 3, and 4. Now you're going to skip your half double crochet, and in the chain space we're going to put a half double crochet, a chain, and a half double crochet. Go ahead and skip your half double crochet and work 7 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So now that completes our repeat. And to get our repeat started again, we're going to do 4 double crochets. So we'll have a total of 11 double crochets between our chain space sections. So let's work those 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then I'm going to skip this half double crochet, and I'm going to place a half double crochet, a chain, and a half double crochet in the chain space. I'm going to skip the half double crochet, and I'm going to work 7 double crochets to wrap up this repeat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So go ahead and repeat this 14 more times, and I actually would keep on counting 8, 9, 10, 11, and then I'd skip my half double crochet and put my little cluster in the chain space. But overall, go ahead and finish this up, and I'll meet you for the next round. Moving into row 15, we're going to wrap our orange yarn around our hook here, and we're going to go into the top of that first double crochet from the previous round. Keep that tail back there, and we're going to slip stitch with our new yarn through that orange loop, which is obviously coming loose, and our yellow loop. Okay, come on, little. Well, that'll work. There we go. All right, and so I am going to be crocheting over my tails, and the way that we are going to be doing this round, give me a second here to get all organized, is we're going to be placing single crochets between our double crochets. So let's go between this last double crochet and the first double crochet with a single crochet. Then we're going to go between these next two with 2 more. So 1 here and 2. You should have a total of 3 there, okay? Now to get your repeat started, you're going to place 2 single crochets between this double crochet and this half double crochet. So 1 and 2. Now in the chain space, we're going to place a single crochet, just 1. And on the other side here, between our half double crochet and our double crochet, we're going to place 2 single crochets. So 1 and 2. Now we have 10 spaces between double crochets, so we're going to place 10 single crochets between double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, sorry for hitting the ring light, 9, and our last single crochet here for 10. And that is all your repeat is. So I'm not going to do that again with you because it's pretty simple. You're going to place 2 single crochets on either side of your cluster here. You're going to place a single crochet in the chain space, and then you'll have 10 of these single crochets between double crochets. So there's a total of 15 single crochets in each repeat. So go ahead and repeat that 15 more times actually, and I will see you at the beginning. We are going to fasten off and switch over to red back loop onlys. Okay, moving into round 16, I've already fastened off with my orange, and now I'm going to be taking my red. I'm going to wrap that around, insert my hook into the back loop only of that first stitch, okay? And as always, I'm going to slip stitch through all these loops on here, okay? Oh my goodness, it always does this. Okay, and we're going to chain 1 and place 13 back loop only single crochets, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ooh, I split my yarn there. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13, and I'm losing my work. So now the next 2 we're actually going to decrease. So go into the first one with your hook, pull up a loop. Go into the second one and pull up a loop, and yarn over and pull through all 3 there. So that's all your repeat is. You're going to do 13 back loop only single crochets, and then you're going to do a decrease single crochet. And you'll repeat that 15 more times, and your last 2 stitches should be a decrease here, okay? So I will meet you for the next round, and I'll see you soon. Alrighty, moving into round 17, I have fastened off my red, and we are going to be attaching our brown here. So go ahead and pull that through the first stitch as well as the red loop of the previous round, because we're going to be working from the right side here. And I have switched back to my 6mm hook because I am using the I Love This yarn. And so I'm going to bring these tails forward and chain 1. Okay. All right, there we go. Nice and tight there. And so you're going to start out this repeat with 3 single crochets in that same stitch, okay? We're going to start in that same stitch. So 1, 2, and 3, okay? Now, we are going to, I'm going to move those tails behind. I'm not really going to crochet over them anymore. And you're going to yarn over twice, okay? And we're going to drop down to the half double crochets in row 13. And we're going to place a front post treble around that half double crochet. So pull up your loop and then yarn over and pull through 2 times, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2, okay? And so then we're going to skip 2 stitches behind that, so 1, 2, and in this 3rd stitch you're going to place 3 double crochets, a chain 2, and 3 more double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, chain 2, and put 3 more double crochets in that space. 1, 2, and 3. Now yarn over twice, and you're going to drop down to row 13 in that half double crochet and do a front post treble. So yarn over, pull up your loop, yarn over, pull through 2. What's going on here? I think I twisted a little bit. Yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So now we're going to skip 2 stitches and place 6 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that wraps up our repeat. So we're going to go ahead and place, do this repeat again together. And a good rule of thumb is that between each of your front post trebles is going to be 9 single crochets total. So we're going to go ahead and place 3 single crochets here to get this repeat started. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay. I'm going to yarn over twice, and I'm going to drop down to this half double crochet, and I'm going to pull up my loop, and I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2 3 times. Okay. Now move your stitch out of the way. You're going to skip 2, and in this 3rd stitch you're going to place 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. You're going to chain 2 and place 3 more double crochets in that stitch. So 1, 2, and 3. You're going to yarn over twice, drop down to the other side here, and do a front post treble around that half double crochet in row 13. So yarn over, pull up your loop, and you're going to yarn over and pull through 2 3 times. Okay. Now we're going to skip 2 stitches and place 6 single crochets to wrap up this repeat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now I'm going to keep counting up to 9 and do 7, 8, 9 for to continue on, but that's just a little trick I do. And so go ahead and repeat that, and you're going to have this really cool effect, which I obviously did not attach that front post treble to the right spot, but go ahead and repeat that 14 more times, and I will see you at the end, and we'll move on to round 18. All right, moving into round 18, I've fastened off my brown, and now we're going to be attaching our yellow. So go ahead and slip stitch through the top of that first, oh my gosh, this first brown single crochet in through the brown loop. Now, as always, I'm going to pull my tails forward. Let me grab them. Where are they at? Pull that brown tail real nice and tight. And we're going to chain one to get started with this, just to make it nice and tight there. And we're going to place a single crochet back into that stitch, as well as 2 more into the next 2 single crochets here. So 1, we've got 2, and I do have my 5mm hook here. For those of you that are swapping hooks the way that I am and using the same yarn as me. So there's number 3. Now we're going to skip over this front post treble, and we're going to do a front post double crochet, a front post half double, and a front post single crochet. Okay, and we are on the right side of this project, just to clarify. So front post double, we're going to do a front post half double, and we're going to do a front post single. You're going to chain 2. You're going to skip the chain 2, and you're going to place a front post single, a front post half double, and a front post double down the other side. Okay, so and our front post double here. We're going to skip this front post treble, and we're going to place 6 single crochets to wrap up this repeat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now let's do the repeat one more time again together. We're going to place 3 single crochets, which are going to be number 7 across here, number 8, and number 9, because you're still going to have 9 single crochets between your little cluster tops here. We're going to skip this front post treble. You're going to do a front post double crochet, do a front post half double, and a front post single crochet. Oh my goodness. Chain 2, and let's do a front post single, a front post half double, and a front post double. Okay, we're going to skip this front post treble crochet and place 6 single crochets to wrap up this repeat. 1, ooh, just about knocked a plane off the table. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, go ahead and repeat that repeat 14 more times, and I will see you for the next round. All right, moving on to row 19. We are going to be attaching orange this go. Okay, and go ahead and slip stitch that through and pull that yellow real nice and tight. And I recommend pulling your tails forward before you doing your chain. Oh my goodness. Okay. Now we're going to place 3 single crochets, and I'm going to do that over my tails. So 1, and I will say that we just finished off our yellow, our last row of yellow. This is going to be our last row of orange. Alrighty, and so now what you're going to do is a front post half double crochet around this front post double crochet. So yarn over, go behind this yellow front post double crochet, and do a front post half double. Okay, and then from there, what you're going to do is actually push this forward, and you're going to place a single crochet in the top of the brown double crochet before the chain space. Okay, there's a single crochet there. And then you're actually going to go around both of these chain twos from the brown and the yellow row, and you're going to place a single crochet, a chain, and another single crochet in that space. Now, into the double crochet after the chain two spaces, that's brown, you're going to place a single crochet. Okay, and now you're going to place a front post half double crochet around this front post double crochet on this side, so they're just kind of mirroring each other like always. Okay. And then you're going to put 6 single crochets starting here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And that wraps up our repeat. So let's go ahead and do this repeat again together. We're going to place 3 single crochets. So technically that's 7, 8, and 9, okay, of the single crochets between these clusters, okay? So let's do a half double, front post half double around this front post double crochet. Then you're going to place a single crochet in the top of the double crochet before that chain space. Okay, you see my, oops, sorry about that. You can see my hook is in the top of that. I'm going to place a single crochet there. Sorry, the hawks are going crazy. So then in the chain two space of both brown and yellow row, you're going to place a single crochet, a chain, and a single crochet. Then you're going to place a single crochet in that first double crochet after the chain space in the brown row. Then a front post half double around this yellow front post double crochet. Be careful not to pick up the brown yarn when you do that one. And then you're going to go ahead and place 6 single crochets to wrap up your repeat. So 1, 2, 3. The universe is really telling me, this is a 4, that someone really needs to hear that you have a yes coming. The hawks going are a real strong symbol for you. Somebody really needs to know that. I just wrapped up 6 single crochets for that repeat, and you'll do this repeat 14 more times, but somebody here listening to this right now really needs to know that you are going to get a yes to an answer, and it's a very strong yes. You're actually going to feel a little bit nauseous right before the call or the message or the email, the letter in the mail that you get, but those hawks are really prominent for you, and I recommend going and looking up the meaning, spiritual meaning of hawks. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll get back to you at the next round. All right, we're going to be moving into round 20, and we're going to be attaching red. I've already fastened off my orange. You will need a little bit more orange for our beak, but we're pretty much done with the color orange. And then the red will also do a gobbler. But we're going to slip stitch here. Pull that orange tail real nice and tight. And grab both tails and pull them forward. And chain one to get this round started, right? And you're going to place a single crochet back into that same stitch. Okay. You're going to place one more single crochet here. We're going to skip this next single crochet, and we're going to place a front post single crochet around our front post half double crochet. Okay, just like that. And now you're going to place 2 single crochets, so 1 and 2. You're going to take your hook, and you're going to go down into this space down here. Oops, sorry about that. And do a long single crochet. So pull up the loop a little bit tall and complete that. All right. And then we're going to skip the chain space and we're going to go and place 2 single crochets. So 1 and 2. Okay. And now we're going to place a front post single crochet around this front post half double crochet. We're going to skip this first single crochet and we're going to place 5 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that's going to complete your repeat. So we're going to have 7 single crochets between our cluster sections, and so you would place those 2 single crochets to get our repeat started, but I'm going to go ahead and count 6 and 7. Okay. Then we're going to place a front post single crochet around this front post half double crochet because we're going to skip that last single crochet there. You're going to place 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. You're going to drop down into this space down here and put a long single crochet. Skip the chain space and put 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. You're going to do a front post single crochet here, followed up by 5 single crochets. We're going to skip the first one here. Do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So go ahead and repeat that 14 more times and I'll meet you for the next round. Alrighty, so before we do our last 2 rows of brown, which includes attaching to the hoop, we are going to take our little turkey and we are going to actually attach his face to this. And so what I recommend doing is taking like 3 or 4 stitch markers and actually attaching his face to this section all together, because this 3rd row is going to attach to this 2nd row essentially with slip stitches. So go ahead and attach his face, and I've got 4 stitch markers attaching my turkey to my outer or my 2nd row of the body. And now what I'm going to do, I've already got my yellow attached to my hook. We are going to pull through with a slip stitch here, okay? And then we're going to go into the 2nd stitch here. And it doesn't really matter what you do with that tail because you're going to weave it in later. You are going to pick up one of the stitches from, and I usually go in the the lower portion of the double crochet, and you're going to slip stitch. And you're going to do that all the way around. The first one's going to be the tightest. So now I'm going to go into the 2nd one, and you'll see this next stitch. I'm just going to pick it up just like that. And you're going to do that all the way around. And because we attached our gobbler with 2 stitches, you should have 43 slip stitches all the way around, and I'll help you right here when I get done. All right, so I've come up to the beak where he's kind of hidden. So if you did yours the way I did mine, I'm actually going to skip a stitch and slip stitch into the next one, because we do have 48 double crochets and we're attaching 43. So every now and then you're probably going to skip one. A total of 5 should be skipped though for this round, and I would space those 5 that you skip out evenly, okay? But this is going to make his little face look real nice and 3D, and I am going into each stitch. So this is what it's going to look like when I get over here. All right, so if you're like me, your little turkey has started to kind of warp, and you have these spaces down here that are about to pop this gobble in a funny space. And so I have 2 slip stitches left, and I actually have 2 stitches down here that I've got to place my slip stitches around. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that because it's going to push the gobble forward, obviously, because it's doing it. and I'm just gonna make those last slip stitches, those last 2 slip stitches underneath the gobble, because I want that gobble to push forward. I want him to look kind of 3D. And so you're gonna see my hook come out there on the left side. Maybe, there it is. I'm gonna do my last slip stitch here that's visible. Oops, sorry for hitting the camera. It's a tight space here. Okay, just like that. And then what I'm gonna do is go ahead and slip stitch into the little yellow bit that was our original slip stitch, and then I'm gonna fasten off, okay? And give yourself, I don't know, your normal 5 to 6 inches, and then go ahead and pull your yellow through. And that's gonna make his little gobble stick up. And what I'm gonna do is actually double knot this, and then I'll take my darning needle and I will push these tails to the back of this project and I will weave them in. But overall, this should be your little turkey face. Good job. So to weave this, you are gonna pop that gobble up and take your tail and go in underneath here, and then you will weave in that tail. And that's gonna just secure that little gobble in place, so even though it's 3D, it doesn't flap in the wind too much, okay? All right, we're moving into row 21 now that we've had our turkey's face attached. And so with brown, as well as our 6mm hook, if you're using the I Love This yarn or a thinner brown to get the texture here, we're gonna slip stitch through the top of that stitch as well as the red loop. And I am going to bring my red and brown tails forward if I can find the red. Doop, doop, doop. Okay. And I'm going to chain 1 to get started. And then we're going to place 2 single crochets starting with the stitch that we just slip stitched into, and I am going to do that over my tails. So 1 and 2 is going to go into the single crochet before our front post single crochet. Now go ahead and yarn over, move your tails to the back, and you're going to yarn over twice, okay? And we're going to drop down to this front post treble down in like row, what is that, 17, and we're going to do a front post treble around it. So pull up your loop, yarn over, and pull through 2 3 times. Okay, and now you're going to place 2 single crochets starting with the front post single crochet. So 1 and 2. Now you are going to place a long single crochet down into this space, and you're going to be skipping this next single crochet because it's going to cover it up. So long single crochet. Then starting with the red long single crochet, you're going to place 2 single crochets, and I am going to kind of go backwards into this stitch so it's easier to pick it up. So 1 into the long single crochet that's red, and then 2. Okay, into the next stitch. Then we're going to place a long single crochet into that space again, and we're going to skip a single crochet because it's going to cover it up. Then the stitch before our front post single crochet from our red round, we're going to put a single crochet. We're going to put a single crochet in the front post single crochet, so that's a total of 2. And then we're going to yarn over twice, and we're going to drop down to row 17's front post treble, and we're going to do a front post treble. Okay, and now you are going to place 5 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and that completes your repeat. So let's do that together again. We're going to place 2 single crochets for a total of 7 between your cluster sections. Okay, so 2 single crochets. Now we're going to yarn over twice. We're going to drop down to row 17 and place a front post treble crochet around that front post treble crochet. Okay, Now place 2 single crochets starting with the front post single crochet. So 1, 2. You're going to skip the next single crochet and place a long single crochet down into the space that's yellow. You're going to place 2 single crochets starting with the red long single crochet. So 1 and 2. And now we're going to drop down in here, place a long single crochet, and then starting with the single crochet before the front post single crochet, you're going to put in a single crochet, you're going to put in a single crochet in the front post single crochet, and then you're going to yarn over twice, and you're going to drop down to row 17's front post treble, and you're going to pull up your loop and complete a front post treble there. And then you're going to place 5 single crochets to wrap up your repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I'll continue on and say 6 and 7 and repeat 14 more times. That's how it's going to look. And I'll see you for our round where we are going to attach this to a hoop. So I do recommend taking 16 of your stitch markers and attaching like right in this section to your hoop. And again, if you need help making that hoop, the link is down in the comments on how to make a hoop for wheelchairs, or you can be attaching this to your 19-inch steel ring. All right, we're moving into row 22, and this is where we attach it to the hoop. So I've got little stitch markers in the top of each of our second row of feathers that's attaching my turkey to the hoop, and he is kind of flimsy right now. He's kind of ripply, and that's normal. What we want to do is slip stitch into the top of that very first single crochet over here to get started. I might have to go in backwards because mine is crazy tight. I don't know if that's from the way that I weaved in my ends, but I did weave in all of my ends as well. And so now what we're going to do is slip stitch into the top of that first stitch. Okay. Oh my goodness, it is just so tight. Okay. There we go, like that. And now I'm going to chain 1, and we are actually just going to be placing a single crochet into each one of these stitches by going in the middle of the hoop and out the back and yarning over, and we're going to place that single crochet. So super easy. All you're doing is literally 1 single crochet in each stitch, okay? And when you get up to the stitch markers, you'll just remove them and put them back in their little bin. But overall, this is a pretty simple row. And then you'll fasten off and you'll weave in the tail of your brown, kind of back and forth. But congratulations. And if you're doing these for the wheelchair, you will make 2 of them, obviously, exactly in the same fashion. But as you crochet around this edge, it's going to pull that nice and tight, and those feathers are going to lay a little bit flatter and have the ripple 3D effect still. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I look forward to doing our holiday spearmint and or peppermint wheel covers. That's what I'm working on now, so I'll see you next time.